What's up, you guys? This is Felicia, your ballin' and bipolar success coach here. If you are watching this on video right now, I have no makeup on and my glasses. This is what I really look like in real life. I thought about putting makeup on, but I didn't feel like it. So here we are. I hope you enjoy this content, though. That's what this is really about. I'm not a model. I'm not Kim Kardashian trying to look cute for you, but I hope this content means something to you. We're going to talk about today dreaming big, okay? We're going to talk about energy and vibration and what all this can mean for you if you're bipolar or if you just want to get better in your life. I hope you're here for it. You can follow me on any socials, really, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. My Facebook page is Felicia Ballin' and Bipolar, Bipolar Success Coaching. You can join my group, Ballin' and Bipolar, our support space. My Instagram handle is PHYLECIA_Ballin' and Bipolar 01 for clear, concise content. Remember, my book is on Amazon. Be happy or get the F out. If you're new to my community, go check the book out. It's awesome. So what we're going to talk about today is the senior yearbook quote that I had. In 2007, when I graduated high school, this was my yearbook quote, and it was from the song Dream Big. And I'm going to start you off with this quote. And when you laugh, be sure to laugh out loud, because it will carry all your cares away. And when you see the beauty all around and in yourself, and it will help you feel okay. And when you pray for strength to help you carry on when the troubles come your way. And when you dream big as the ocean blue, because when you dream, it might come true. I wanted to start this podcast off today with that quote because in a weird way, I think that I have lived my life like this for forever, and it kind of goes to show you. It's funny because my nephew and I were listening to that song the other day, and I was like, Malachi, listen to the words, and I'm all about him, like learning artists and learning the actual lyrics to songs and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, if you live your life like that, you'll be okay. You want to dream big, but you want to laugh, you want to pray for strength when the troubles come on. All that. And then I was like, man, it's so cool that that's coming full circle in my life because that was my yearbook quote in 2007, almost 20 years ago. And I'm pretty proud that I am where I am today when that was my yearbook quote when I was a kid, when I was 18 years old. And what I wanted to dive into was dream big and know that you can, know that you are, okay? And what I wanted to touch on was, dreaming is one thing, but putting action to it is another. So yeah, you can dream big all you want, but you have to put action steps because I think it was Denzel Washington or Steve Hart, one of those guys. I always listen to their quotes on Instagram. My media feed on Instagram is all these people talking about success and all that kind of stuff. And one of them said, a dream without a to-do list, and I'm paraphrasing here, I probably made it my own, but a dream without a to-do list is going to say a dream forever. And what that means is you want your dream to become the goal. And if it's the goal, that means that it has achievable action steps. Rachel Hollis talks a lot about this. I was listening to her podcast today too, and she said, the universe and God can do as much as they can, but we have to meet them halfway. We have to do action. We have to change our current situation if we want our situation to change. So we can't just hope and pray and wish and dream, hope and pray and wish and dream on a loop, because we're going to wake up and be like, nothing's really changed. So you can manifest and mantra the shit out of everything, which is great. It's a part of it. But we have to go in that direction, you all. Tiffany Haddish, if you all know about her, she's a comedian. She was on Rachel Hollis's podcast as well. And if you don't know already, Rachel Hollis is like my Oprah. She's my idol. I love her. I hope I'm on her podcast one day. Neither here nor there. That's one of my dreams, okay? But Tiffany Haddish said something along the lines of like, if you believe with all your heart that you can do something, you absolutely can, but you have to work. You have to go to work. She was like, I went to work, but I knew that I had something, and I knew that I wanted to be where I am today, and I am, but I went to work. Kevin Hart, he's another one. He said years ago, and this always stuck with me. Kevin Hart, I think it was like before one of his comedy specials, and he said, everybody wants it, but no one wants to work for it. Everybody wants it, but nobody wants to work for it. It takes a lot for these people to rise above. Okay. They didn't just wake up one day and have success overnight. We might think it was overnight success because we didn't see the years that they were working hard, right? Matthew McConaughey, he's another one. Read his book, Green Lights. It's so good. I freaking love that book. And he's the reason. So I'm recording my book on for Audible. So if you guys don't like to read, it'll be on there soon. But Matthew McConaughey read his own book, and I loved it because it was his context, his voice. It was great. So go check it out. But he said in there, he was like, the whole book is about green lights and like where it took him on his life. One experience would lead to the next. That would green light him and lead to the next, or a red light would happen and he would have to reverse engineer and go back the other way. So there's all kinds of things that can happen in our lives. And if we take it and we run with it, we can reach the next green light and the next and the next and the next. And so I'll tell you about my life right now. Where I am today is somewhere where I've wanted to be, 10 years ago or 5 years ago, or even 2 years ago, but now that I'm here, you go to the next mountaintop and the next mountaintop, and it's the grass is always greener. It's like, I have a lot of friends that are like, Felicia, you must be on cloud nine. Like, your book just launched, you're rocking it out. And I'm like, yeah, it's just, I'm just in it. I have to be more grateful for where I am today because I'm on the journey. I'm on the path to the dream. I feel like a lot of the time that I'm in limbo, you guys, because, my business hasn't started making money yet. I'm doing all this stuff leading up to hopefully making money in my business one day. But, what I'm grateful for is the fact that I have the opportunity to make great money in sales that's helped me invest in my business. Without the book company, I launched and wrote and published a book in 6 months. Without that company, I would have still had pages written, like a journal in my computer, hoping and praying that maybe some agent would find me. Like, there was no path to publishing that book. It would still be notes on a page. So there's a lot of caveats to that. It's understanding that, like, while you're on the path to the dream, you're going to feel like you're in limbo. And you need to know. Rachel Hollis said this one time, and it really caught my attention. She said, if your dream is going to take 10 years, or is it still the dream? Are you still going to work for it if it takes 10 years? What if you want the dream to happen tomorrow? Are you still going to work hard if you know it'll take 5 years? Or if you know it's going to take 10 years? That's one hell of a test. And it's one hell of a question. Because I know sitting here today, these are my 2 dreams, okay? I'll share with you. I believe it takes one right person to see my book and read my book, and it'll blow up. I mean, books are turned into documentaries and TV shows and all that stuff all the time. I mean, the show Orange is the New Black happened because of a book. It happens every day. So I'm like, why not me? I know that book is good. I know it's powerful. I've had affirmations all over the place about it. And I believe that I could absolutely be on the biggest media stages in the world. I totally believe that. And it's not a manic thought. It's true. It's just, I have the belief that could happen. And so in my world, my mind track to like that achievable step is I'm sending my book to the biggest publications I can find. NBC Studios, New York Times, Jimmy Fallon, Reese Witherspoon Book Club. Hopefully Rachel Hollis will somehow find my book. It's getting in front of the right eyes, you guys, and then Jesus take the wheel. You know what I mean? Because I have to do action steps to make it get in front of the right people, sure. But then at some point, it's just the universe has to take over and say, hey, here's Felicia's book, do with it what you will, kind of thing. But at least I put in the work for the right people to see my book. You can't just sit and hope and pray that your dream is just going to come to fruition by doing the exact same thing, sitting at your house and hoping somebody magically. That's what the delusion of the manic episode was. The manic episode happened from a real thought. I told my dad back when I was like 14, I was like, Dad, and this wasn't like a mania thing at all. I was 14 years old. I came into the living room and I remember it like it was yesterday. And I said, Dad, I think I'm going to be famous one day. And my dad was like, rock on, sure. Like, you can do anything. And then that thought has just always kind of been in the back of my mind. But the manic episode, when mania seeped in, it made all of that delusional. Okay. It was complete and utter delusion. You know the story. But now it's almost coming full circle, but I have an actual path. It totally makes sense now. I'm taking steps in that direction. Now, the other dream for me personally is I want to be a paid speaker. But in that, even if it's take paid out of it, I want to be a speaker in which I would come on the stage to an awesome song, be out there dancing, deliver one hell of a message, and we would have our own little concert. That is my dream. That is what lights my fire. If I never become quote unquote famous, if I don't, get on the Rachel Hollis podcast, but if I'm a speaker and if I can share my message and be in front of people and help them have an awesome time while they're there and have a little mini concert, that is living the dream. That's the dream. And that absolutely is doable. Now, my first step there is you got to have a business, right? Speakers don't just become paid speakers and really successful speakers out of nowhere. They probably have some type of business. They probably have a book. They are an expert in their field, and they have the charisma, and they're a very good speaker. Like, there are all kinds of tokens to this. But for me, I know that I'm going in that direction because I follow speakers. I'm in that world. I got accepted to speak on a Women in Business. It's Women Thrive Media. If you guys want to look them up, they're awesome. But it's a digital stage, okay? It's worldwide, which is really cool, but it's not a physical stage, right? So, but it's a step in that direction, okay? It gets you in front of other speakers. It gets you in that world. And so I know that I have a lot to do to really live that dream, but I'm moving in that direction. I feel like a lot of the time we get so lost in the day-to-day and we feel like we're in limbo. Like right now, I'm in limbo. I'm still making all my money from my sales job. I'm doing all these things, just hoping that it works out and hoping that I start making money in my business and hoping that I find a really cool speaking gig where I'm actually on stage and they let me come out to a song. Like, yeah, but at least I'm taking the steps to go in that direction. Okay. So you can't just dream and hope and wish and pray. That's all part of it. Absolutely. You want to have the visualization and the belief that you can do it, but you actually have to do something to go in that direction. Does that make sense, you all? The other thing I wanted to say was there is a quote from The Alchemist. This is a book, and he says, when you want something, the whole universe conspires in order for you to achieve it. That's strong. Let me repeat that. When you want something, the whole universe conspires in order for you to achieve it. So if you believe that, that could mean all kinds of crazy shit. That could mean that if you have the right energy and the right belief towards something and you work in that direction, the universe is going to meet you there. The universe is going to do and take that energy for what it is and meet you halfway so those can come together. Okay? Now this is where I want to kind of transform this a little bit and talk about energy, because energy can be in universe can go good and bad. If you have that perception of your reality that you believe and perceive the world in a negative light, it's going to give you negative. The universe is going to meet you where you are. What you focus on, you create more of. And again, Rachel Hollis was talking about this, and I always want to give her a shout out because I want you guys to know that my ideas are my ideas, but it could have sparked from somebody else. So I'll always mention, a quote or a book or a podcast I was listening to. And Rachel Hollis was talking about, look up quantum physics. We are all energy. So it's the same to say, like, when I'm at a bar or when I'm out and you see somebody having an awesome time and they're with their friends, that energy transforms or transfers to you. You see somebody having an awesome time and it like lights your soul up. Okay. Or if you're at Walgreens, I do this all the time. When you're at Walgreens and like the checkout person is just like, meh, I'm always like, hey, how are you? I know you're working hard, da da da. Their light turns on because you appreciate them. You're nice to them. And then their energy switches. okay? But have you ever like noticed the tension in a room when somebody is not having an awesome day? Or you know that there is tension. You know that somewhere in your family, if somebody wakes up on the wrong side of the bed, you feel that tension. That's energy. So if you put your energy into good, the universe can meet you halfway. If you put your energy and perception into bad and negative and fear, the universe is going to meet you halfway. So remember that vibrations are real, energy is real. Dreams can turn into reality, but we have to work for it. You know, I think about a lot where, Disney movies, where it's like, your dream, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, but like, we have to work for the dream, you all. Okay. So remember that. I think a lot of the time, okay, and I'll bring up football. Tom Brady. I have a really good quote from Tom Brady for you guys. I think a lot of the time we think that really talented people, let's say Tom Brady, for instance. I don't know. I don't care if you're not his fan or whatever. If you're a football fan or a sports fan, you have to at least respect the talent. That's what I say to all my people who are like, oh, F Tom Brady, blah, 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 blah. He's a cheater. Okay, really? So you're telling me he cheated all 20 years? No, he didn't. That was one season. Don't get me started. The point that I'm trying to make is Tom Brady did not wake up being, quote unquote, the Tom Brady we all know. He was one of the last pick for the NFL draft. He was one of the slowest people, the most uncoordinated people on the planet, but he got picked and he went to work. He told Bill Belichick back then, he said, I will be the hardest worker on this team. And because he had the belief that he could be the best, he ended up being the best. Okay? And that is huge because he did not just wake up with all this talent. Absolutely not. He went to work. And it took practice and practice and practice and coaching and practice and coaching and practice. The same goes here. The same goes for our bipolar disorder. The same goes for your personality and making a comeback. It takes practice. And it takes the right energy and the right fuel and the right diet and the right exercise and all of that to keep practicing over and over and over and showing up every single day and being intentional about your life. If you come intentional every single day that you are going to have a better day than yesterday and you are going to find the beauty and gratitude in your day, 99 times out of 100, you are going to be looking for the better. You look for the better, okay? And the universe will show it to you. If that's you're hearing the birds chirp, if it's hearing or listening to if you see the sunrise or you listen to the waves crash, or if you see something out your window, if you see a flower, or you wake up in a nice cozy bed, whatever it is, look for the gratitude. And what Tom Brady, he was on my feed, my Instagram feed, you guys. See, and I talk about media a lot. Like, be careful of the media that you pay attention to or that you look at, because I hate like scrolling social media. But if I find myself scrolling, it's on Instagram, and it's most of the time, it's either motivational about business, sales, or successes, or it's like those funny things from like movies where they'll make it like about a mom and it's whatever. So really funny stuff. But for all intents and purposes, I'll get back to the whole point. Tom Brady was sitting there, and it was funny because this specific video, he was like getting his hair done. He was getting a haircut, and he was talking to the kid that was doing his hair. And the kid had obviously asked him a question, and this was his response. And I'm just going to read it verbatim because I wrote it down as he was like talking. He said, fuck that tired body. Fuck your unmotivated mind. Get out there and do it anyway. You better fight for yourself, because you're not only winning when things are going your way. You got to figure out how to win when things are not going your way. You got to figure out when your body's fighting you and when your mind is fighting you. How do you know when to say, fuck it, and I'm going to beat my mind today? Tom Brady. That's strong, because he mentions the mind and how sometimes you're fighting your body and the physical tiredness. But if you're here listening to this podcast, we're fighting our mind most of the time. And the more you fight back and the more you fight back and practice and practice and practice, you gain control over this disorder. Your vibration will raise. your energy will raise. And we are going to live our life like that every single day. Be intentional. I hope you guys have a ballin' and bipolar day. I hope I see you out there sometime. Remember, if you're not balling yet, you can be, you will be. You keep trudging forward.